today we are going to make corned beef hash. I have 2 corned beef briskets, and I've looked to see how to can it. I found a couple of directions on the internet. I have a lot of people said the Ball Blue Book has instructions. However, my 2008 and 2009 Ball Blue Books do not have instructions, but the 1949 one does. I just don't use the time. But basically they say that you need to take this out of the package, remove the seasoning, and then we're going to put it in here, cover with water, bring to a boil, and then I believe it's simmer for an hour. And then we will remove them, but you're supposed to leave the water so that you can use it to pack with. Then you let it cook and skim off the top. So we'll come back to that when we're ready. We're going to get these emptied, rinsed, and put in here. And like I said, covered with water, and then we're going to bring to a boil. And then they're going to set I believe it said simmer. I'll double check, but then you're going to let that go for an hour. And then we'll have to, of course, let them cool before we can cut them up. So we'll come back when we're ready for that. Okay, I did get them both to fit in this pan. It's just a standard pan that comes with a set of pans. I don't know how many quarts. They're only 3 pounds each. They're not real big. I did leave the juice in because on the package, it all says when you cook it to leave the juice in. So I went ahead and left it in. I did take the seasoning packets out. So we're going to bring this to a boil, and it is simmer for 1 hour. As soon as it starts boiling, then we'll turn it down, and then we'll let it simmer away for an hour. And once it's cooled off, then we can chop it up so we can put it in with our potatoes. And like I said, when this is done, we don't want to throw out the liquid. You want to keep it, and we'll come back when we're to that point. Okay, our corned beef has simmered for the hour, and I did skim the white foam off of the top. I see a little bit more there. Basically, just do that, and I'm gonna actually take the meat out, lay it on the plate. And then I'm going to let this cool so that I can actually remove the fat that's come to the top, because brisket is really fatty and I didn't cut it off. So we'll go ahead and take these out so they can cool off. Got that great burner under there. And I haven't decided... I may grind the meat to put in with the potatoes rather than chopping it up, so it's more like the canned that you get, because I like the texture of it. But we're gonna let this cool so we can handle it, and hopefully I'm gonna set it back here off the burner, and it will cool, and then we can get the fat off of the top once it separates. And then we're gonna keep the juice so that we can warm it back up when we get ready to add it to the meat and the potatoes. I'm also going to dice up probably 2 or 3 onions, because I want some onions in with mine. We'll come back when this is cooled and we've got the potatoes peeled and the onions chopped. Then we'll see what we're going to do. I'll figure out if I do want to grind that or just chop it up. This is the broth that was left after taking the corned beef out. And it said this is up to you whether or not you're adding the broth or not adding the broth. But you can take the seasoning packets that come with your stuff, put them in I think this is a tea ball, actually, not a spice ball, but it works. I got it at Walmart. And I just put the seasonings in there and then stuck it in there. And it says you can bring this to a boil and, boil it for, 20 minutes or so to get the flavorings in, and then you can remove the spice ball. And that way the stuff will have... I'm going to strain this, I think. I'm not sure. I may just put it over the thing and strain through that, but I did skim off the fat, though, that come to the top. So that way it wouldn't be quite so greasy. But there is my corned beef all chopped up. And I'm going to actually put that in the fridge for now, cover it and put it in the fridge. I had some other things come up, so I didn't get my potatoes and my carrots, or my potatoes and onions chopped. So I'm going to do that, but that's 6 pounds on that plate. This is a platter, so it's actually fairly big. But I'm going to get the rest of it ready, and this I'm going to let cook and kind of give some flavor to that. You don't have to do that. It's up to you, personal preference. So there it is. Here's my hash that I made. I put the chopped up corned beef in here. Then I chopped up potatoes fairly small and mixed them in. And then here's my onions. And I chopped them very, very tiny. Mostly because my son doesn't eat onions. So if he can't see them, then he'll eat them. I used this food processor that I got. I know, don't laugh. It's pretty old, but I got it at a garage sale for like 50 cents. And it works fine. It works really well, actually. The only thing that was wrong with it is it's missing a leg. So I had to stick this lid under there to keep it from wobbling. But yeah, it works good. Just thought I'd share that with you. So never pass up something at a garage sale for 50 cents. I've definitely gotten my 50 cents use out of it. But I'm going to, I've got this over here heating. And it's simmered and it's ready to be put in. I strained it one more time. Now I'm going to get my jars and stuff ready. And I'll get this finished getting this mixed up. And put it in the jars, and we'll get the canner on, and we'll be ready to can corned beef hash. Okay, we are ready to fill our jars with the corned beef. I've had my jars in the canner, warming them up, since we'll be putting the hot broth in them. So we're gonna just scoop this in. And you want to go up to the 1-inch headspace. There we go. We'll fill that up to about the bottom of the lid here. Go. That ought to get us up to the spot. You can put a teaspoon of salt in this if you want. I'm not going to put quite a teaspoon. I think we're going to go with a half a teaspoon of salt. Actually, I may not put any salt in it because you can always salt it when you get it out. And I'm not supposed to have the salt anyway. Then we're going to take some of the broth that it boiled in. And we're going to go ahead and fill this up to the 1-inch headspace. And we're going to want to debubble it, which always lowers your liquid that you have placed inside. Actually, it didn't do too bad, so I think we'll just leave it. Then we're going to take this off, get a paper towel, and I dip mine in vinegar to wipe the top off. Make sure there's no particles of food. You can also feel that the rim is nice and smooth, and you don't have any problem with it, you know, having a chip or something in it. We have our lids, which have just been washed and dried like they say to do now. We're going to put that on, and we'll finger tighten those on, and there it is. Looks like a lot of potatoes, so I don't know, maybe I got too many potatoes, but this is the first time, so we'll see what we think, and then we'll set that in the canner. I'm going to go ahead and finish filling the rest of these jars, and we'll come back when we're done. Well, we've got them all jarred up and ready to go. I've got them in the canner here. I did only have 8 jars of the actual corned beef. So I just took a jar. They're a little warm. These are just a dried mix of beans, and I put some onions in it and then filled it up with that juice to give it kind of a meat flavor with the beans, even though there isn't any in it. And they can go ahead and process same amount of time. We're going to put the lid on. I guess we'll set you down. Sorry about that. Oh, okay. Oh, might need to adjust. So basically, we're just going to get our cannon lid and get it put on. Make sure that you check your hole, blow through it, look through it. Helps if you put it on the right way. Line up your arrows. Shut it, and we'll turn it on high. This will start to steam. This will pop up and lock. And then we're going to let it vent for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, we will put our pressure regulator on. They come with, that's 5 pounds when it's by itself. When you add one is 10 pounds. And when you add the second one would be 15. I only need 10 pounds. So we're just going to use one plus that. And we'll set that on there once that starts to vent. And then we'll bring it up to pressure and start our timing. They're going to process for 75 minutes for pints because of the meat being in there with the potatoes. So we're going to let this do its thing. We'll come back when we're done. Here they are. I got 8 pints of the hash and 2 of the beans. I think next time less potatoes. Looks like there's quite a few. We'll know better, I think, whenever we fry it up, get it up and fry it. Because we are going to have to try one out just to see if that's what we like. They're fairly cool now. The lighting isn't the best. But we're going to give it a try and see how it tastes. And I have one other way that I can make it, and it said to grind it, and I didn't do that. I did do the chopping, but we kind of want to see. This might turn to mush, not mush, but get really soft. So we thought maybe we'll try it this way, see if that's soft enough, and if so, we'll just do it this way. But there they are. So yes, you can corned beef hash.